project manager.
How long have you been with them?
Let's see, since 2014.
Okay.
And so I went to mechanical engineering school and got my 4-year degree there.
Right.
And,
So what kind of projects they got you in charge? You're in charge
so,
of this
so
one?
the project I had here was to replace about 22 or 23 fan coil units inside, and so that came off pretty good after I had the second contractor.
Yeah, you went through one, did you?
Yeah. So we're just starting out. So this building was built in 1830. Air conditioning was not introduced until 1974. The central plant was built in 1973, way over here. So it provides the chill water for the campus. And so since this, I guess when they built that, they built this 1 year later. And so in 1974, the designer came up with a plan to install 150 or so fan coil units in the building. And they're under each window because that's where most of the load comes through the walls. So that's
you don't really see them here, do you?
No, but they're under each window.
Right.
And the piping, okay, so there's a mechanical room over here on the far side over here. We can look at that if you want to. It has the pumps, the hot water pumps, and the chill water pumps that distribute the piping through the building. There's a piping, there's a hot water loop and a chill water loop that wraps around the perimeter of each floor. And those pumps distribute the water through there. And so each fan coil unit has a hot water heat exchanger and a chill water heat exchanger. So for each heat exchanger, you have to have water supplying and water returning from it. So that's 2 pipes per heat exchanger, 2 heat exchangers. That's 4 pipes. That's why they call it a 4-pipe system. If you ever hear a 4-pipe system, that's where the pipes come from.
So it's trying to do heating and air conditioning out of the same unit.
Yes, that's right, yeah. Actually, there's a 5th pipe that drains the condensate away from the unit after the air goes over the chilled water coil and it produces condensation. So it's technically a 5-pipe, but you'll never hear a 5-pipe system.
Well, so if I could just interject?
Yes.
So this is different from what we were looking at over at the Avery Center, which was a ducted system. So because of the size of the building and all the rest of it, you can imagine what just the amount of ducts would do to that interior space. Remember on that lecture I talked about there are different kinds? You've got the ducted system and you've got the
ductless. This is a ductless.
No, but I'm just saying different types.
Right.
So you've got a ducted system like they have at Avery, then you've got pipes. In this case, he's describing a 4-pipe system.
Right.
Here, which means you have less ducting going here and there, but you got plumbing going everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's a trade-off there.
Yeah.
And then of course there are room units and specialized individual units. That's another type altogether, which we typically don't like to use too much. Nobody likes room air conditioners in old buildings, right? Mm-hmm. But that is the other type of system. And then we've got some new systems that are coming on board. The micro, remember we talked about it, the micro tubing?
Oh, those are, the mini splits.
Yeah,
mini split systems, yes.
So that's kind of an interesting new variation. I don't think we've got it installed anywhere just yet, do we?
They're around, but
right.
Yeah.
Right. And so all of these are, attempts to modify the air and attempts to keep from having to open and close buildings, our windows.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And having said that, though, even now that we're not using the windows, they're deteriorating.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's necessarily related, but certainly the moisture condensation, shall we say, building up on the window doesn't help the life of the window.
Right. Yeah.
And so I guess the question, we want to look at it to compare just the physical presence of another type of heating and air conditioning system, so you have it in your head. But then the other question that comes up, just like with Avery, is what kinds of monitoring systems are in place? relative humidity as well as temperature, so
Yeah.
that we can, see what kind of job it's doing on this building. We re-stuccoed and fixed the stucco a few years ago. I don't know whether that's something you're monitoring to see, how that's working.
Yeah, we do. They do have what they call is a building management system. There's sensors in different buildings, and those sensors send signals back to a controller, which sends another signal back to the building management system.
So that's all.
And you can
relative
sit at
to
your computer and you can pull up a graph of a building, and it'll show you the air handling units and the temperature in certain parts of the building and the humidity in certain parts of the building.
Okay, and then also
Yeah.
presumably how much energy is being used.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you can control the air conditioning equipment to try to conserve energy. That's right.
So can you control this energy equipment that you've got spread throughout this building remotely?
Remotely. Exactly.
So that makes it a little bit handier. That's one of the advantages of a centralized system. Otherwise, each room's got to play with it, right? And that's kind of unmanageable. So anyway, let's have a look.
Yeah, there's people that'll, have a program on their iPad and they'll be able to turn equipment on and off from a building that's on the other side of the campus, just standing there.
Well, you're working with the state, so you don't
Yeah.
get a chance to do this.
No, I know, right.
In the private sector,
Yeah.
there are people who get their degrees in mechanical engineering, and they will go get a job for, an industry or corporation or office complex or something, and they will base their salary on, because of these new technical systems, on a baseline plus a percentage of whatever they can save the company in energy costs.
Yeah.
And so these people are doing quite well for themselves with the new sort of monitoring system so that they can do that. You know who else does stuff like that? Chefs. Chefs works for a basic line, and then whatever they can save the company on food costs and food waste, and the rest of it goes into their pockets.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of a new way to make money in the field, right?
Yeah. And there's a project that the college is working on right now called an Energy Savings Performance Contract.
Okay.
And that is a contract that a contracting firm or a firm is offering the college right now.
To do something similar to try to save money.
Yes, yes. In fact, I think they're going to start some projects this summer.
Yeah.
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 Under that energy savings performance contract.
That should be. Where's your HQ? Where do you have all your equipment where you can read all this stuff? Is it on your phone or is it in a room?
It's on the computer, yeah.
So it's just on a regular computer?
Yeah, but like I said, some people can do it from an iPad. Or I don't.
Right. Well, I doubt if you'd be able to control too much, but you can monitor it.
Yeah.
Right. Cool beans. All right, super. Yes, sir, John.
On your point you just made about they sometimes have performance contracts.
Right.
Explain, we've been dealing with contracts here in terms of college buildings.
Uh-huh.
Explain what a performance contract is as opposed to build these items and put them in the building.
Oh, energy. Well, okay, so energy savings performance contract is actually a construction project.
Okay.
Yes, but I guess the goal of the energy savings performance contract is to save energy.
Right.
That's the main goal of it.
Oh, it's a
Yes,
conserving
and
contract.
if the construction project does not save energy, then it wouldn't fall under an energy savings performance
Okay,
contract.
it's called that kind of contract.
That's right, yes.
And you've chosen that instead of a contract that says put these particular type of machines in the building.
Yeah, and instead of just, whenever a unit goes, whenever you start having maintenance problems with the unit or it stops working, instead of just replacing the unit, you're not doing that to save energy. You're just doing it to get it back online and,
Right.
keep,
An ad hoc solution, kind of a fixing
Yeah.
solution.
yeah,
Status quo, but
Yeah.
now you're moving forward doing something that incentivizes people and in fact it requires them under the performance contract
yes.
to meet certain requirements, right? In terms
Yeah,
of-
yeah. Well, before they do the contract, they'll actually measure the energy to a building. And then when they make their improvements, they'll measure it afterwards. They'll measure a meter, like an electric meter feeding that particular building. So they can so they can prove how much energy they're saving.
So, does the
And-
contract include installation of new equipment, modification of existing equipment,
It
or
does,
just
yeah.
as a replacement modification?
And they will give you a guarantee that you will save this amount of money if you sign a contract with this firm.
Cool.
Yeah, so
In my previous life, I was a government contracts lawyer, and
Okay.
we had that same type of movement from
yeah,
detailed design specifications. You know, here's exactly how big it's supposed to be and the
Yeah.
capacity.
Yeah.
And it got more toward, here's what performance we want. Performance-based contracting, I think it was called.
Oh,
But
okay.
You're got a kind of a mixture, because you are
Yeah.
gonna have them do actual engineering installations and stuff, but you're having this added feature.
Yeah.
Of here's
Yeah.
what you're required to meet. Is that on a sliding scale? If they only need so much, they get an incentive amount, or if they do more, they get
well,
more?
what your goal is to save enough energy in about 10 years to pay for your investment.
Great.
Yeah. So if you're investing 100,000 in that particular air handling unit or whatever it is, the energy should pay back that much in
In that
10 years.
amount of time.
So what he's
Yeah.
describing there is something called life cycle analysis,
Sure.
where you basically look at the trade-off
Yeah.
cost.
Yeah.
Are there other performance-based contracts that you're having on the campus right now?
That's the only one I know of. Yeah.
That's the one for,
The energy savings performance contract. Yes.
and where, has that been implemented in several different places?
Yeah, there's several buildings across campus they've selected, and like I said, I believe they're going to start this summer. They're going to start construction on.
Can you share with us which buildings those are?
Um, I'm not the project manager for that, but we do have a project manager in facilities management that can.
Okay.
We can. I don't see why.
We can check them out.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at the
Thank you.
equipment.
We're gonna go check out everything
Okay.
else.